Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. We are so excited that you're here tonight. I'm Nikki McCutchen. I will be your co-host. Just know that whoever invited you to the call tonight must really care about you, to want you to know about this technology, to get to hear from other people and their experience and what they have seen in their own lives with the technology. There's literally hundreds upon hundreds of thousands of, testimonials like this, and every single time it's so unbelievably beautiful, just to get to see people experiencing health and vitality, and balance in their body. And so we love getting to hear every story. Every story is important. And the call tonight will be for 30 minutes. And if you're new to the call, we're just going to start with our medical disclaimer. All LifeWave products are not intended to treat, cure, diagnose, or prevent any dis-ease. What we're discussing tonight is for educational and informational purposes only. If you are on medications or have medical conditions or are pregnant or nursing, just like embarking on any new health regimen, diet, or fitness program, please make sure to check with your preferred healthcare practitioner first. So tonight, I am super excited to introduce you to David and Lynda, this amazing couple. They truly are so inspiring. They push me every week, like just to share more with more people, to care more about, as many people as we can get in front of this technology. And so it's so much fun. I have just the utmost respect for them. And I am so thankful, to be able to just, like I said, just have them constantly spurring me on, trying to keep up with them all the time and just sharing the technology. But their stories are so special, and they have been utilizing this technology for quite some time now. And so I always love that. We always love to see the long-term results that people get. And so I'm just excited to introduce you to David and Lynda tonight. And again, just so thankful to have them in my lives, and so excited to have them on here tonight and get to share their story with you. So David and Lynda, please just take it away and just share with us your journey about the technology. Obviously, I know you all have gotten to experience the water too, so I'm sure the water technology, so you'll get into that as well. But I'm just excited to see what you saw early on, and then as well as just for the long term, how long you've been using the technology and what you've been experiencing because of that. So y'all come on and just take it away.
Well, Nikki, that was absolutely incredible. Thank you so much for that introduction.
Yeah.
Um, Let me tell you that our journey with LifeWave began very close to 4 years ago when a friend of mine called me and asked me, would I please do some research for her about this new technology and this incredible business opportunity? And I said, sure. So I did my research. I looked into the company. I looked into David Schmidt. I wanted to know everything I could find out about him. And I dove deep into the technology because it was all about patches. And I thought, what in the world is this? Never heard of such. Anyway, well, through that research and multiple conversations with Pastor Ed and Lorenzo, what I discovered was there was this patching placement that you could do for 15 days that would help to detox your body. And I was incredibly impressed with that. 15, let me back up a second. I shared this with my sister-in-law, not David, with his sister, who was excited and wanted to do this with me. Well, 15 days later, I have to tell y'all that I felt amazing. It was incredible. I felt like my entire body had been cleansed thoroughly. I loved it. Absolutely loved it. Well, then I thought, now I have this interest in this technology. What's next? Back then, I was relatively, for my age, a very healthy person, but I did have a sleep issue. I was the person that tossed and turned all night long. And David, on the other hand, would put his head on the pillow and out he went in a matter of minutes. So I discovered Silent Night, and I thought, there's my next avenue. David and I decided to try that patch together. We put it in the middle of our forehead that night. We had fun with it. We walked around the house looking like two aliens with a third eye. It was really fun. Anyway, we went to bed, and David, of course, immediately fell asleep. And when he did, I noticed something very strange that happened. This man that I was married to for over 4 decades, that's a long time, he did not snore that night. And that was huge to me because
Yes.
that was half of the reason I couldn't sleep.
Yes.
Well, I kept thinking all night long about this patch, and I wanted it to work so bad. But guess what? It didn't work that night for me. I just couldn't stop thinking about it. But I never gave up. The next night, I tried it again, but I changed where I had positioned the patch. The second night I put it, I think it was behind my right ear. And when I did, I fell asleep, and I didn't sleep quite through the night, but it was better than night one. Well, the next day I thought it worked for him. I'm going to make it work for me. I found the Eon patch, and I coupled Silent Night with that one. When I did, it was like I had this dual effect. You know, one patch calms down your brain, the other one relaxes your body. And I slept a solid 8 hours for the first time in years. It was amazing. I absolutely loved it. And I woke up the next morning very refreshed. It was incredible. Well, now I thought to myself, I'm really super excited about this technology. I cleansed my body, I detoxed my body, I found a solution to my sleeping problem. What's next? Well, back to the computer I went, and I'm reading all this information on X39. And I'm hearing a lot of really good feedback from others that used it. I thought, there we go. With all of this going on with that product, it's got to be the Cadillac of this technology. And I wore this patch every day, 12 hours a day, 7 days a week. I was feeling energized. I just felt so much better overall, health wise. It was incredible. Well, I wore this patch nonstop for about, I'm going to say it was 6.5 months when I had an issue. I went to bed one night and I turned the television on because I wanted to watch the news. And when I did, I'll say maybe 10 to 15 minutes into the news, the entire TV screen blurred up on me. I couldn't even read what was going across the bottom of the screen. I thought, oh no, my eyes just went out on me. Well, the next day, David, being the great husband that he is, he got on the phone. He found a new eye doctor that I could get to right away, and off I went. I had my eyes examined. But since she was a new doctor, I brought with me my contact lenses, which I wear during the day, and my glasses, which I wear at night. And she examined my eyes, and she put my glasses in this little box with all these lights going around. When the lights went off, she started writing down some notes, looked at me, and said, "These are not your glasses." I said, "I beg your pardon." I've been wearing these glasses every night for probably 2.5 years, if not longer. With that, she said, "Something's wrong. I have to re-examine your eyes." Now I'm having heart palpitations because I'm thinking I'm going blind. Well, she gives me a second examination and then a third one.
Oh my gosh.
And I'm like, oh no, what's going on here? She said to me in a very calm tone, have you had eye surgery in the last year? I said, no. She said, have you had cataracts removed? I said, no. She said, have you had any eye injections? I said, absolutely not. But when she used that word, it triggered a thought that related to the patch in my mind.
Mm,
We're
mm.
always saying no this, no that, and no injections. So I said to her, I lifted up my hair and I showed her the patch on the back of my neck. And I said, look, I don't know if this has anything to do with anything, but I've been wearing this little quarter-sized wafer thin patch on the back of my neck for the last 6.5 months, every single day, 12 hours a day. And I proceeded to tell her a little bit about the phototherapy process, in addition to how the X39, was connected to stem cell regeneration. When I said stem cells, she said, stop. I just looked at her and I said, what? She said to me, I'm very familiar with stem cells, but only through injections. With that said, she said, but I'm going to tell you something. If that little patch is true to fact, and if it does what you're telling me that it can do, she said, your vision in your left eye, which has always been my worst vision, she said, has significantly improved. The prescription has gone from a 5.75 down to a 4.0. And my jaw dropped. She said, but what's really baffling my mind is that the prescription in your right eye has gone from 4.5 down to 0.75, which is no prescription at all.
Wow.
And I
Wow.
was like, oh my,
Hmm.
this is the wow I've
Hmm.
waiting for to really go gung ho with this technology.
Hmm.
And I have to tell you, never underestimate the power of the X39 patch, because the unexpected can happen to anybody, just like it happened to me. These eye exams were my wow, and these eye exams is what put the icing on my cake. So, with that said, I want to thank you all for listening to my story. And thank you, Nikki, for giving me the opportunity to share it. And at this time, I want to turn it over to my, no, oh, I'm seeing a lot of hearts. My number one partner in business, my husband, David.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Lynda.
You're
That's a
welcome.
good story, Lynda. I like that. Now, you notice she said 40 years, and
Over.
over 40 years, my best husband that, when I called for her eye exam. But did she not say earlier that she did with my sister the
Yeah.
detox? She didn't
Yeah.
ask me, didn't tell me. I had to get my own patches. So that's why I wanted to preface this first. I got my own patches. But when we got our patches and we were taking them to my sister, because I'm going to tell you a story of a previous person before I tell you about mine. We had a young lady that we knew from when we used to live down in that area. Her name is Letty. Well, she happened to come over to my sister's house when we were there. I answered the door and she's standing there and she is in her 50s. So she's standing there and she's got 2 canes, one in each hand. And I told her, okay, well, come on in. And she starts doing the senior shuffle. Okay. Sliding the feet coming in. And I'm going like, Letty, what has happened to you? She said, I have really bad sciatica and they want to do surgery on my knees. They want to replace my knees. And I don't want the surgeries to happen. Well, we're brand new. We're excited about the patches. We don't know what we're doing except for the guidance of Lorenzo and even Pastor Ed, because Pastor Ed was still new at that too. So I told her, Letty, I says, we have this technology that nothing's going in the body, but I think we can help you with the pain. So Lynda patches are for the sciatica, and that pain goes down a little bit. So I tell her, Letty, I said, where are you at as far as your knee? What is your pain level at your knee? She said, I said, from 1 to 10. She said, well, she says, I'm about a 12. And I'm going like, okay. And I said, well, I'm going to try this technology. Nothing's going in your body. Let me put these patches on. So I patched her with the Aeon and I patched her with the Ice Wave. And we're waiting a few minutes. And she says, okay, let me try something. And I'm going like, oh Lord, please don't let this woman fall. Because what she wanted to do was get up and walk to Lynda with no canes. She says, I'm leaving my canes here. And us being brand new, it's like, oh, please, please, please. So she gets up, she starts walking, and she walks over to Lynda. And when I say walk, she did steps. She didn't shuffle her feet like she did when she came in.
Wow.
But well, this is great.
Mm-hmm.
She gets to Lynda and she says, I want to try something else. And she starts to lift her knee up, the one that was really bad. So she's lifting it up, and then she lifts it up higher, and she lifts it up even far higher, almost to her chest.
Wow.
She breaks into tears.
Oh.
Now, of course, my wife and my sister, they both break into tears because that's a woman thing to do.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, me as a man, I broke into tears too because
That's awesome.
it was just great to see that. But when I asked her where her pain level was, she said she was down to a 2.
Praise the
So
Lord.
we were excited about that. And
Mm-hmm.
that was I want to say that was my aha moment to actually dive into this full time.
Mm-hmm.
So I asked her point blank, Letty, you saw what this does. Now, take this in consideration too. She has not been upstairs in her house for a year and a half. Michael, her husband, made a bedroom downstairs for her because she couldn't go up the steps.
Wow.
So I tell her, Letty, I said, you see how the technology works? Would you like for us to get you some patches? She said, no. I'm going like, what? No, you don't want patches? She said, no, if this is what this has done for me, I want to be in this business. I want to tell people about this. I know people that can get involved in this.
Wow.
So,
That's awesome.
so that was my aha moment as far as the patches. Now for me, one of my patching episodes for myself, I had a wrist fusion done when I was in the military. I had damaged my wrist in a judo competition, and so I broke a bone in my wrist that actually calcified because they told me I didn't break it, but I did. But anyway, it was the military, and I I went to the doctor. They told me it was okay. It calcified, and then it just caused problems. So I had to have a wrist fusion. So because I had a wrist fusion, I can't bend my wrist all the way. So I have to do push-ups off of a counter. Instead of doing them on the floor to lay my hands flat, I have to do them on the counter. So one day I'm doing push-ups and all of a sudden I hear tear.
Oh,
And I'm like, okay, nothing. It's nothing, like most men. Oh, it's only a flesh wound. The arm didn't drop off. Um, so I keep doing push-ups. Well, later on that day, I couldn't lift my arm. It's like, Dave, you shouldn't have done more push-ups. So, of course, being the man that I am, I'm not going to the doctor. I'm going to patch up. So what did I do? I patched up with Aeon, Ice Wave, and NX39. And within 3 days, I'm fine. No
wow.
issues, no problems. I can lift my arm. I can still lift my arm up. It was absolutely great. So that's my story for my patching event, plus my aha moment with Letty.
Yeah.
So
How long had you been on the patches since you had the wrist thing?
I had been on the patches. Well, let's see. That happened what? I want to say that.
A long time ago.
Yeah, the risk was back in the 80s.
But I mean, like when you started patching
I
and then
st-
they fused it. And so then you were doing the push-ups and then you had the injury. How long had you already been wearing them?
oh,
Two.
I want to say, yeah, about 2 or 3 months. That's it.
Okay.
That's all, but I mean, I immediately patched up my shoulder, for the pain and helped to get it well again. And now we're on the water too, and that has just been tremendous for us. Lynda is now superwoman, because she can lift a mattress. She can lift over 40 pounds in a box that I thought, oh, this isn't going to, I told her, let me lift the box. It's going to be heavy. She just goes and grabs the box. She says, I already drank my water. And
Get out of
the
my
bike, get out
way.
of my way. Exactly.
So
So
you wouldn't have done that before, Lynda.
No, no,
no,
no. It was
Okay.
heavy weights in that box.
no, we
Okay.
have a king size Tempur-Pedic mattress.
Mattress.
Oh, okay. I understand that.
Lift
It's
that,
incredibly heavy.
to put
Yeah.
that sheets underneath it, and it takes both of us. If we're doing it together, me by myself, I can do it, but she was never able to do it. The other day, it was like she'd come out. I said, I'll help you. Oh, it's already done. I lifted the mattress myself.
Oh my gosh, you did it by yourself. That's amazing. Oh my gosh. That's awesome. So obviously you must feel like you feel strong, like you feel like I got this. Whereas before it was like, oh no, I probably better not be doing that. So you notice a difference in how the strength of how you feel.
Not only the strength, but the energy. It's amazing. The first thing that I noticed when I started drinking the water was the mental clarity, the focus, and then the energy. It was like, oh my goodness, what's wrong? What's happening to me? I loved it, every minute of it. I
That's
was just,
amazing.
yeah, yeah. And
So did you have those
strengthened.
things with the patches too? Like, did you have mental clarity and energy? Did you have all of that happen with the patches already?
I did, but
Mhm.
when I started, number one with Celergize, and then number two with the light infused water, when David said I felt like Superwoman, believe me, I did. It was
Wow.
energy like I have never felt in my life. And I still every day drink that water and bam, I'm ready to go.
Yeah,
That's amazing.
I'm gonna sign her up for some MMA fights soon.
Hysterical. Oh, so what have you noticed with the water, David?
Again, the clarity, the ability, the stamina that it gives you, the extra, you don't feel, sometimes you would feel tired, after a day long, working. No, don't feel it.
Wow. Yeah.
And I and I drink
Oh, it's
and I drink two
amazing.
glasses a day.
You drink how many?
Two.
I drink
Two.
one.
I drink one in the morning
I can't handle two.
and one in the afternoon.
You're like, I'm maxed out, man. I'm gonna have to put on my bulletproof wristbands. If I drink another set of water, there I'm gonna have my gold lasso and let's go.
I would then probably have again a sleeping issue, and I don't want that.
Yes. Yes. Oh, you'll be like, I need to go clean another area of the house because I can't sleep. Yeah.
I've done that.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Okay, so then talk to me about, so you guys have been using the patches for 4 years. Obviously, the water you've just had for a couple of weeks. But talk to me about long term. What did you see with the patch technology?
Well, let's see. The long term, we've had. I mean, I can tell you, you can't see my scars from it's done the scar remodeling on my wrist fusion. I had a ganglion removed off of this wrist. That's also you can't even see that. I've had some other minor surgeries, or when I was a kid had some scrapes where it's left a little scar, but those are gone. Plus weight loss also. I can tell you that looking back at some of the pictures that I was in, um, I was the Muffin Man. Um, it was amazing. But I've lost about I want to say 60 pounds.
Wow. Over the 4 year span, or
Probably 3 year span. 3 years.
okay.
Well,
Yeah.
I'm going to share one other thing, and I'll do it quickly. I know we're running out of time.
No, you're great. I want you guys to have as much time as you need because we want to hear it all. Everybody likes to know short term, long term, all the things.
Okay, here goes. This is for you, Vicky. um, oh my gosh, a lot of these testimonials are very exciting, fun to listen to, but there are others that are very emotional. And
Mhm.
this one is very emotional to me. So
Mm.
I have to refrain from crying.
Yeah.
David and I had gone to our very first convention with LifeWave down in Florida, and we came home, and our son said to us, Mom, Dad, I would really like for you two to get a full body scan. And I thought, oh, wow, we feel great. There's nothing wrong with us. But to make him happy, we did it. Well, we went one day, had it done. That evening, the doctor called with the results. David had the doctor on speaker. He's telling David how wonderful his results were, and it was great. He said, but however, your wife, I need to talk to her right away. I thought, oh no, what's wrong with me? He said to me, he's talking in all these big words, medical terminology. And I said to him, please talk to me in my language so I understand what you're saying. Bottom line was, he said to me, basically, I was a minute away from a heart attack or stroke
Oh, wow.
because the main artery going up to my heart was so clogged it affected the blood flow.
Mm.
So I need for you to get to a heart doctor immediately. He said, and in the meantime, get on a regimen of low dose aspirins right away. If you have any issues, if your arm starts to hurt, your leg starts to numb up, you have chest pains, you need to go to the ER right away. I was like, okay, I was no good. I was frantic. My blood pressure skyrocketed.
Mhm.
Well, David, again, being the husband that he is, got on the phone the next day, and he found that very good heart specialist for me. And off we went for a consult. He had the other doctor send him the results of the scan that I had. And at that point, he said, you are a candidate for heart surgery. He said,
Mm.
however, what I need to do is quite a few other tests to get to the bottom of what we actually need to have done. Oh my goodness. I was no good.
Mm.
Well, I said, okay, now this was the consult, and I had to schedule all these tests, which I was not able to get to for what was it, 2 weeks? It was about 2.5 weeks. And of course, he's telling me the same thing the other doctor said: take the low dose aspirin, go to the hospital if you have any effects. And now I have to wait almost like 2 weeks before I can even get this test done. Well, one night I was putting my night patches on, and I was so scared. I was taking my blood pressure at that point 3, 4 times a day, and it truly skyrocketed.
Mm.
And I had this vision come across my head, and you'll never believe this. It was a vision of Vicky Malad. I saw her in my head, and I heard Vicky talking about, with her wonderful product presentation, speaking of carnosine, that it's good for the brain, it's good for this, it's good for that, support your cardiovascular system. And I took that carnosine patch because to me, that vision was a sign. And
Mm.
I put that carnosine patch right on my heart. And
Mhm.
I wore that patch every single night until I went back to that doctor and had those tests done, and continued until the day I got the results, which was 3 days after the test. So now David and I are on our way to the doctor's. I'm sitting on the bed in the examination room. David's sitting across from me, and I could see the fear, as calm as he is, the fear all over his face too. The doctor walks in and he says to me, Lynda, I have good news and I have bad news. What do you want to hear first? I thought, oh, give me the bad news. I can't wait another minute. I've got to hear what's going on with my heart. And he said, the bad news is that you have something that's hereditary, and it's known as generic, generic elevated cholesterol. I said, I don't want to hear about my cholesterol. I want to hear about my heart. What's going on with me? He said, okay. The good news is that whatever you're doing, you need to keep doing it. He said, because the clog in that artery has completely dissolved. He's,
Wow.
you do not need heart surgery of any kind.
Wow.
With that, Nikki, I burst into tears.
Absolutely.
David
Praise the
started
Lord.
crying, but I truly believe from the bottom of my heart,
Mhm.
and I got to get this out without crying,
Yes.
that it was the power of prayer, the power of that carnosine patch, and the
Absolutely.
fact that Vicky spoke and I listened. I truly believe that's the reason I'm sitting here today. And that's my
Absolutely.
story, so I'm not going to cry.
Yes. Yes, that is so amazing. And it's just one of those to where, the things that we learn and, the Lord brings those back to mind when we need them. And so when we're constantly learning and educating ourselves, about the Bible or about our health, or, like we're doing those things, then God has access, to that knowledge to be able to bring it back to mind. And so I'm just praising the Lord with you. That's truly amazing. And God is good. God is good all the time. Yes, that's
Absolutely.
awesome. Mhm. I love that so much. Yes, thank you so much for sharing that because I don't know that I've heard that part of your story. Maybe I just missed it in one of your other videos, but I don't remember hearing that. So,
Oh,
and
no.
and how long? Because that was your first conference that you'd come back from with that scan.
Yes, yes.
Mhm. Yeah.
And then I have to tell you that not only did I have the heart issue, but my blood pressure skyrocketed.
Mhm.
And I continue to this day, which is now 2 years,
Hmm.
2 years later, to this day, at least 3 times a week, and sometimes four. When I go to bed at night, that carnosine goes to bed right on my heart with me.
Yeah,
And my
absolutely.
blood pressure is in a perfect range. So
Praise the Lord.
I
Yeah.
owe it to the Lord. I owe
Mhm.
it to the patch.
Yeah.
And I also owe it to Vicky Milad. Mwah.
It's awesome. I love that. Yes, and that's the amazing thing is that ultimately it is all God. Like this is the way that God designed us, and we just have access to a man who's chosen, in David Schmidt, to study God's design and make technology that supports that design. And so ultimately, it's all the Lord. It's what He's given us. And if we had more scientists, inventors like David Schmidt, our world would be completely different than it is today. Because God truly, that's His desire for us, is that our bodies are made to heal themselves. And so, and yeah, and now, like back then, Lynda, we didn't have the studies on the carnosine patch. So there's actually a cardiologist who is now publishing studies on PubMed with the carnosine patch, as well as he's done studies on X39 also. So we have the proof in clinical studies that have been done, produced on PubMed is mainstream allopathic medicine. It's where you go for information about what's working in health. And so we have that with our carnosine patch. And so, but again, David Schmidt knew all that, studied all that, had his own test results to, show like this is going to help and benefit people's hearts. And you got to experience that before we had any studies on PubMed from a major cardiologist. So praise the Lord. That's just absolutely amazing. So do go ahead and tell me with you guys, like, why would you tell people like they want to do this long term?
Just from the results that we've had, you know. I mean, and we have thousands and thousands of testimonials of people
Absolutely.
that have done it. So I mean, you've got to be concerned about your health.
Mhm.
If you're not concerned, you're going down
Without
that rabbit hole.
without your health, you have nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Nothing.
absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
the key is to share your story, share the stories of others, and relate those stories to issues that the person you're talking with may have that they're dealing with. So you
Yeah,
can make that connection.
absolutely. Yeah,
And it's all about family. It's all about, the longevity of your life so that you can enjoy your family.
that's
Because if you
right.
don't, yeah,
Quality.
quality of life.
Quality
Exactly.
of life.
Mhm. Absolutely. Yeah. So just to review real quick, we have, help with detox, feeling fantastic because your body's able to work properly and detoxify. I was going to ask you, Lynda, about silent night placement when you added that Eon. Did you stack them on top of each other or did you put them in different places?
I put the Eon on the back of my neck, and I put the Silent Night on the top of my right foot in between the web of my big toe and second toe. And I continue with that patch placement today.
Okay, that's awesome. I'm going to start trying that.
I
Start
love it.
trying that. That's awesome. Yes, that's awesome. So, and at 6.5 months, you had this amazing thing happen with your eyes and going into the eye doctor. Just truly fantastic. David had the help with the wrist in 3 days. And I love your story too, because you didn't stop patching. Like a lot of times, people that have like, acute pain that's just super painful and it's a major big deal. And they'll put the patches on and they'll be like, well, Nikki, it didn't work. They did it for one day. And so the importance of going ahead and so, okay, you have acute pain. So it might take a while. So I know when I've had acute pain, the first time that happened to me, it was 5 days of doing multiple patches. And so the importance of sticking with it and understanding that this technology always works. And so just being willing to stick with it and give it the time that it needs, because what we're talking about is that this is all natural. Your body is working in a natural way to clear and regenerate different areas. And so that's going to take time. With pain as well would be true. Sure. Do we see people get out of pain right away, like your friend Lynda? Absolutely. Like we see some of those things happen too. But sometimes hers was chronic, whereas yours is this acute, really, strong, painful, preventing your whole limb from working. So, just sticking with it and understanding that the technology absolutely works. And then, of course, Lynda, with your heart. That's just truly amazing and so thankful that you all have had that stuff. So I know we're over time, but I'm just going to give you like super quick little nuggets to like talk about their story so you kind of understand. So our products are FDA recognized and compliant as general wellness products. There's a 96% effectiveness rate. So when they're talking about just sticking with it, your bodies are going to work. They are going to do what they were designed to do. And then Lynda mentioned the Celergize, and so that is support for just balance in your body. So if you're part of the 4% who maybe takes longer to feel what this technology is doing for you, then this is also a great ad. Or if you just want the patches to work optimally, because it gives you a balance between copper and zinc, potassium and magnesium, some electrolytes, some amino acids. So all of these things that our bodies need to work better. Plus it has xanthox in it, which is support for your own body stem cells as well. So when you're using that, it's going to give people 100% effectiveness if for some reason you were in that other 4% that struggled or whatever. Extremely affordable. Like, think of all the things that Lynda and David just talked about. Okay. What would have heart surgery cost them? What would that have cost them? The amount of patches that they have spent in the last 4 years doesn't even touch what heart surgery would have cost them. Okay. So we are not only talking about financially supporting and helping and investing in your health, but we are talking about vitality, ability to live your life in a way that you so desire without these interventions that maybe you can completely avoid. Have there been people that have still had to have heart surgery? Sure, there have. Has this technology helped them to come through and overcome and recover better and faster and quicker? Absolutely. We have seen that time and time again. But if this technology can stop something like that major surgery in your life, oh my goodness, this is life-changing. This is changing the course. This changed the course of where Lynda was going with her health and what could have possibly have been. That is, there's no price tag for that. Sure, we have a surgery price tag, but there's no price tag for the stress that she felt, for the elevated blood pressure that she felt that now is completely imbalanced. Like that, there's no price tag for that. So, it's one of those where it's just get started. Please just get started. We want you to experience what this technology can do for you. So this is what it looks like. This is what they look like. Come back on Monday where I'll do a deeper dive into 6 o'clock Central Standard Time. I do a deeper dive into how the patch actually works with photobiomodulation and reflecting back into your body, like a light switch flipping on GHK copper peptide, which supports regenerative cells, cardiovascular system. Obviously, we just got to hear an amazing story about what happened with Lynda's cardiovascular system. Huge. Both of them have talked about their brain clarity just with the patch technology being elevated. So helping with that, the X30 X39, your collagen production. So David mentioned all of his scars, just over time, what he's seen over time in his body. So just think, if you can see a scar on your body and you're seeing the scar remodeling properties happen because collagen is now being supported properly in your body, like you were when you were in your 20s, he's seeing that. So if that's happening on something that he can see on the outside, imagine then what is happening on the inside of his body. Your body cannot affect the outside in that way unless it's coming from the inside out. Okay. So he even talked about weight loss, like his body being less inflamed, like his body resetting his metabolism and helping his metabolism work like when he was younger, which is huge. So wound healing, immune system support, so they've been patching for 4 years. Please do not stop patching until you get your miracle. If you have a list of things over here and you want to know, and like, Nikki, what do I need to plan for? I'm going to tell you 6 to 12 months. Just plan on investing in your health for 6 to 12 months so you can get test results like Lynda saw with her eyes, like Lynda had with her heart, even though that happened so quickly because her regenerative cells were already up and working for her, but it needed some additional support. So enter in carnosine, which carnosine is inside of our hearts, inside of our brains. So now you're supporting the heart from 2 different angles with GHK copper peptide and with carnosine, which is a master antioxidant in our brains and our hearts. So she's getting that extra support, 2 different angles to support the heart in a way that was beneficial to her body. And that's what this technology does. It turns on what God already put there. So hydration is always key, which you're hearing about the X2O. Why are they getting these results with the X2O? They already said that they had support in their brains. They already had energy. The patch technology was already helping like that. So how or why would it elevate? Because with the X2O, now every single cell in your body is able to receive hydration and use hydration, okay? Most people are walking around chronically dehydrated. So when you open up that pathway for that cell to receive nutrients that it needs and then be able to use it because of water. Water is key to every possible health avenue in your body whatsoever. Nothing happens in your body that's positive with health without hydration. So this technology is truly, truly brilliant. So helping with, again, you heard them talk about their brain. So improvements in blood flow. So anything where blood flow would be disconnected. So, cold hands and feet, tingling in hands and feet, whatever it might be, that's going to help across the board. There are positive changes in every single organ group with the water, okay? Which is why they can have more energy. That is why the energy is there. So over 100 statistically significant changes in the body within minutes, which is why they've just been on for like the water for 2 short weeks or so, and they're seeing all these results, and Lynda's turned into Wonder Woman. So it's truly awesome. So it's just decreasing their body age. So that is why she's got strength that she has not had in years, which is phenomenal. Increases in metabolism. All right. So if we can heal and reset our metabolism, it changes everything in the way that our body functions in daily life. And you just heard within 2 weeks with David and Lynda why those things are happening and the energy that they have. Energy is a direct result of your metabolism correcting itself and operating the way that it was designed. So those are just like super short little snippets about GHK copper peptide and then about what the water technology does. So please, if you have not please get started with this technology as soon as possible. Please share this video with your friends. Come back next week. Monday night, we'll do a deeper dive into X39 and GHK copper peptide, and that's at 6 o'clock Central Standard Time. Wednesday, I guess we won't be here Wednesday and Thursday because we're all going to convention. Hopefully, we're going to get to hear a lot more about the water technology and the science behind that, as well as all the amazing things. There's always fun things that are released and we get to learn about. And anytime we get to hear from David Schmidt talk about where he's going, what he's inventing, how the technology works. It's truly just it's an absolute honor to get to sit under him, to get to learn from him, and then to be able to, even have a tiny little snippet of what we can take away, because none of us can talk like David Schmidt, but whatever tiny little snippet we can get to go and share this technology with other people, there is such great value in that. And so thank you all so much for being here tonight. David and Lynda, is there anything else that you would like to add?
No, I think I'm
I
good.
think we covered it.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah.
That's great. Thank you, everyone. I know we went long tonight. I hope you thoroughly enjoyed it as much as I did. And thank you again so much, Lynda and David, for coming on tonight, telling us your story, encouraging everyone to just, get to experience the results long term. And hopefully we'll get to have you back in years ahead as well. And there will be more new things that we'll get to share with people that you guys are seeing in your lives. So thank you so much for everyone for being on tonight. And just know that we pray blessing over each and every one of you. Good night, everyone. Have a good evening.
Good
Good night. God bless.
God bless.